Joining us right now is the former CEO of CKE Restaurants and former Labor Secretary nominee, Andy Puzder. Andy, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to be here, Maria. Thanks. Great lineup this morning, by the way. No wonder your show's doing so well.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a great lineup. The guests have been incredible, yourself included. So should we be concerned about U.S. companies not expanding their research domestically and instead taking it overseas because the regulatory environment does not allow them to do it here?
Well, we absolutely should be, because look, Uber is this wonderful entrepreneurial company. It creates jobs for people across a broad base. They're independent contractors. The unions don't like them. The municipal governments don't like them because they lose this monopoly licensing revenue. And this is just another entrepreneurial move by Uber by saying to Pittsburgh, look, Pittsburgh demanded economic concessions. They're giving Uber a hard time on these tests, which are tests. They're going to be difficulties, but they're giving them a hard time. So Uber says, look, we don't have to do this here. We can go across the border and do it more easily. And, of course, they did. And it's a good lesson for American companies, but it's a good lesson also for municipal, state, and federal government. The companies, it's not the 1950s anymore.
Yeah.
There are other places you can do things, and Canada's one of them.
Andy, it's Dagan McDowell, but the Trump administration so far has done so much to roll back regulations. Do you expect that to be not just the trend out of Washington, but the trend at the state and local level if those government officials see this rollback bearing fruit?
Well, I would hope, Dagan, I really hope that's the case. But the problem is a lot of these larger cities are controlled by liberal Democratic governments, and they're not going to react the same way that President Trump's reacting or Republican governors are reacting. So you have a problem in a city like Pittsburgh where they're trying to put too much pressure on this company, take too much from it, and the company has a choice. It leaves. And so hopefully the lesson will be learned, but we'll just have to wait and see.
We want to get to tax reform, Andy, because House Speaker Paul Ryan and House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy addressed efforts to overhaul the tax code for individuals and businesses. They have a timeline in place, healthcare and tax reform. Listen to this and want to get your reaction.
Sure.
We have a real problem, which is we have one of the worst tax systems in the industrialized world. It's costing us jobs. It's costing us economic growth. We tax our businesses and our products a whole lot more than our foreign competitors tax theirs. So we've got to radically simplify this tax code.
If we want to be able to compete with the rest of the world, we have to have a tax code that competes. So we got to lower the corporate rate. Repatriation, we got to bring those trillions of dollars that are overseas back invested into America. And then you got to make it simple and you got to make it fair. Fair to me is the strongest word possible. We've got 7 different individuals' rates. Lower that to 3.
That was Kevin McCarthy on the program yesterday, Andy, and I saw your tweets. You tweeted, focus on tax revenue, not tax rates. Good tax policy creates jobs, increases wages, reduces inequality. With growth, everybody gets goodies. So you do think that growth generated by the tax cuts will pay for this?
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm always in favor of people keeping more of what they earn. So if middle class and working Americans are able to keep more of what they earn, I think that's great. But the focus of this tax bill, and this is why the speaker, we have such a great speaker and such a great majority leader, their comments put the emphasis right where it should be. The emphasis of this presidency and of this tax plan should be a booming economy that raises wages, that opens paths to the middle class, that allows people to keep more of what they earn but creates prosperity and tax revenue. It doesn't so much worry about this person's going to be punished or this person's going to be benefited, but increasing revenue and creating that booming economy that got President Trump elected. And if the House members have any sense at all, they'll know that that needs to be their focus. They need to get this bill done if they want to keep the House in 2018. So I think they said exactly the right things.
Andy, this is Mike Huckabee. It seems
hey,
like
Governor,
the Republicans...
good to hear from you.
Hey, it's great to talk to you. I think Republicans need to do a better job of explaining why corporate tax reductions are important, because a lot of Americans never understand there's no such thing as a corporate tax, because ultimately it's passed on to the consumer. So if corporations were taxed less, it doesn't adversely affect the consumers. It very positively affects them. Why don't we go ahead and push for that and stimulate the economy with that?
Well, we absolutely should, and that's obviously what the president's doing. But the more money the less money corporations pay in government taxes, the more they have to invest, and the more they have to distribute through dividends to their shareholders, and the more they can use to pay their employees. So it's a threefer. You get employees make more, shareholders make more, and people get to invest, which creates more jobs, more economic growth. We need that economic boom that will generate tax revenue, not punish people, but increased tax revenue. That's exactly what reducing the tax code does on corporations, and it makes us more competitive. So companies want to stay in America, not that where they feel compelled to go overseas to take advantage of lower tax rates. So it's a huge win, and we just need to get it done.
All right. Andy, great to see you, sir. Thanks so much.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Andy Puzder joining us there. Still